Hello, it's me with another one of these things. And I've got producer Phil with me, and because I've got to say I really enjoyed the format last time, with him reading me the questions or sending me the questions, and me just going on the fly, off the hoof, and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm going to start right away with a question from Colin Tosh from Leicester, and Colin asks, very long question. This is about support bands. You made me a fan for life when I saw the Wildheart supporting Wolfsbane. That was a good one for us. Wolfsbane, Love Hate, and the Manics, I think, is where we got most of our fans from. The place was empty, but you played a blinder. Thank you for reminding me. From this day, I always get the gigs early to watch the support bands. Do you watch the support bands? Always watch the support bands. The show should start when you enter the venue, and if the support band's crap, blame the band, because they should have more of a say on what goes on. And I always pick the support bands for my gigs and our gigs, and it's really important that I find someone that I think you guys are going to like. And I've heard some awful things about support bands, people buying on to gigs. I've actually done gigs when I was with Michael Monroe where bands used to buy on the bill. Obviously, it wasn't my deal, and it was the manager's deal. But you've never seen so many bands go down badly with an audience, misplaced, metal bands on. And so, no, you won't get any of that from me. For better or for worse, I try to make them entertaining. Our next one is from Nicholas, and Nicholas asks, Great that the Wildhearts is also coming to Sweden this summer. God, because we're going to stop playing live for a bit this year. We've just changed agents, so we're without an agent, and it means that we're without any live work. So I look forward to seeing you in Sweden, because it might be a while before we come back. But there's loads of news on that. I'm looking for something for December that we're going to be doing. It's going to be a bit different, and it's going to be in venues that are very, very different than you're used to. And it's going to be something a little bit more intimate and cozy and classy. But we're still working on that. A couple of other things, but we're still working on them. I ain't going to go into them right now, but very, very exciting. But as far as like big electric super volume tours, nothing for the foreseeable. So I'm looking forward to Sweden because of that. What's the biggest challenge when it comes to playing a festival? When many are there to see other bands, do you often check the other bands? UK subs and Choir Boys are playing the same day as the Wildhearts. I will definitely be checking out UK subs. Love me, Charlie Harper. And Choir Boys, I won't be so eager to check out if I've got nothing to do and the weather's nice. I might go and see them. I mean, they're big in Europe, aren't they? They're probably higher up than us, so maybe if we're hanging around, I'll see them. But they said bump into Spike again. What's your best festival memory as a band or as a participant? Best festival as a participant would have to be, my first Reading Festival. My first Reading Festival was amazing. It was my first weekend festival, and it was the first time that I got so wasted I lost days. And I'd been very wasted in the past, but lost a day and then, get myself back. But I lost a whole weekend, and my only memories are the bands that I subsequently got into. Now, it was a great festival because there was Baron Rojo or Baron Rocco from Spain, and they were amazing. Just such a great band, great players, looked fantastic, pyro that never went off on time, so their songs would be like dum every fucking time they went off. Brilliant. But they were amazing. And Bow Wow, who were called Bow Wow Wow, and then changed the name to Vow Wow. But they were called Bow Wow at this time. This is the first time I'd ever seen anyone playing a Yamaha SG, which is currently probably my favourite guitar that I've got. Thanks to producer Phil for finding it. They were amazing. He came on with this big, obviously before political correctness was a virus back then, he came on with this huge Indian headdress. And it was just, I'd never seen one apart from in films, and I just thought it was really cool. Went out and bought all of the albums I could get, all of Baron Rojo, Rocco albums. Love them to this day. The only reason I can speak any Spanish is because of Baron Rocco lyrics. Who else did I see there? That was the weekend that Hanoi Rocks were playing, and Hanoi Rocks were amazing. And they came on, and I just thought, well, this is the next coming. This is the next Stones, the next whatever. Everyone must be enjoying this as much as me. And I turned round to look at the fever within the audience, And it was just about 100 people dotted around this huge field, all like this, sticking their finger up. No accounting for taste, but I thought they were great. And I think that was the one when Twisted Sister played and they brought on Lemmy and Fast Eddie. Must have been like 5 or 6 years they hadn't even spoken to each other, and they both walked on stage together. Oh, it was one of those moments where, but you know, subsequently I have remembered it for all time, but it was just, it went boom in there, in my DNA. This is the coolest thing ever. And it was back when Dee Snider was the funniest motherfucker that would ever fucking sang for any band ever before Twitter. And he revealed his dodgy politics, which I'm sure you're going to ask me at some later date. So I'll tell you, he is pro-Israel. You know, I don't believe in killing kids. And also he's anti-trans, which was the fucking weirdest one. The singer from Twisted Sister being anti-trans. You know, oh, well, it's one thing dressing up like a girl, but thinking you're a girl. And like Paul Stanley, he made it all about sex. And it's not about sex, it's about gender. And if you're not going to be open-hearted enough, then you're never going to realise that. The one thing that really pissed me off about Dee Snider was he compared the Palestine invasion with, if his next-door neighbour had killed his dog, he would go back there and kill his dog. Which is fair enough. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, dog for a dog. But what he was forgetting is it would have been more like someone killed his dog, so he went back and killed the dog, the family, all the related family and their friends and anyone else who is in the way. Yeah, terrible take. American musicians and politics is never usually a good blend, but then I think musicians in politics is usually a bad blend. I mean, the only ones that I agree with are usually left-wing, and even the left wing's weird these days. Everyone these days seems to be getting ready. I personally am getting ready for something, but everything in the world seems to be getting ready for something. And I don't know if it's a cosmic spiritual shift, if it's World War III, but whatever it is, as far as the world political stage is concerned, the best thing to do is get away from politics, to stop being involved so directly and look at it for the bunch of theatre that it is. It's just a bunch of lies, all propagated by the same people to divide you lot via the media, and they're doing a very good job because people are easily divided. Yeah, what the fuck was the question? Because it certainly wasn't about politics. My favourite festival that I attended, yeah, it was Twisted Sister, and then we went boom, 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 boom. Dolphining, I call it, when you get on a slipstream and just go there. It's best when you're talking to someone and they can dolphin with you, then you know you're in good company. Best festival I've ever played, I say this all the time, but the best festival appearance was Download, where they cut the power. I've talked about it a lot, and you probably all know which one it is. We were struggling to find extra songs or extra bits to stretch. We didn't have enough music to fill the time slot. Luckily, they cut the power because they thought there was going to be a riot going on, and it wasn't a riot. It was everyone in the audience throwing stuff at the stage, and us lot encouraging, well, me encouraging it. Back in my day, when I was at Reading Festival, that was a festival. You know, you'd look up at the sky and it was just bottles and bottles and bottles. I remember playing Reading Festival with the choir boys, and the drummer at the time, Cozy, had said, yeah, they was throwing bottles up, but I got them back. I got this hold of this bottle of cider and I opened it and I took a big drink out of it. Yeah, fuck you. And I'm like, it wasn't cider in that bottle, was it? No one throws a bottle of cider at a festival. But yeah, the old school values where festivals were festivals, and people took a lump on the head to be there. And now there would be court cases through the roof. The next one is Owen Gould. What a name, Owen Gould. I love your name, Owen. I hope you are all well. I am well, actually. I'm very well. We've got a lot going on in the band, and I'm feeling, like I said, very ready for something. Feeling fit and mentally prepared. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's going to be, I don't know, a bunch of stuff. Could be, personal. Could be musical. Could be political. Could be spiritual. I'm ready for it. A quick question. What is your favourite riff that you've ever written? This is one that's fucking impossible to answer. My favourite that you've written is Inglorious. Do you know Inglorious was based, and I didn't know this at the time, but it was based on the music box in The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. It's this little tune in the music box, and as a kid, I don't actually like Sergio Leone movies because I don't think they're gory enough, but I must have seen it when I was a kid, and this riff went in there and came back out in 1995 or whatever it was. But it's a good one. Inglorious. It's got some good riffs in the middle. The thing is with me, I like the riffs that aren't the main riffs. I like when it goes into a riff, and I usually like when it's a song at that tempo, and then it goes half time into a big hulking riff. And I like when there's four on the floor, kind of riffs. So I would say like Nita Nitro is probably the closest to that. But, you know, there's a lot of great riffs. And I have to admit, you know, I do consider myself, although I'm a very average singer, I will say, in my defence, I think I'm a very good songwriter. I think I'm a very good lyricist. And I think I write a bloody good riff. And the more I listen to bands who claim to be rock/metal bands, the more I realise that people aren't writing really good riffs. And, you know, riffs are supposed to be danced to and fucked to as well as learnt on the guitar. And a lot of these guys are just playing stuff to learn on the guitar. Boy riffs, I call them. They're not riffs for girls. Where's the Pantera riffs? Where's the early Metallica, the early Sepultura kind of riffs? So I always like the Wildhearts when we go into those kind of really heavy riffs from a poppy song. But to be honest, I couldn't, even if I knew my top 10, maybe I'll do that one day. I'll do my top 10 riffs, top 20 riffs. That would be an interesting one. But yeah, I have new favourite riffs all the time. My current favourite riff has to be a new song that we're doing for the next album, which is called Northern Spirit. And it's got this riff that came to me when I was walking through the woods. And it's 4 parts that don't go together. And it's a sort of riff that you could not sit down and write on the guitar, because your brain would go, well, that's never going to fit with that. But all these 4 parts came, and I want to just stick with it, stick with the process, don't argue with nature. And this riff sounds exactly what I wanted the riff to sound like, but it's fucking mental. It's just the ugliest thing I've ever written, and I say that in a good way. So yeah, that's my favourite riff, the new one that you haven't heard, which is a bit of a cop-out, isn't it? Sorry, Owen. Paul James asks, have you ever considered, or do you think the idea is shit, to write a concept album? Yes, I think it's shit. No, I don't. Like the Who's Tommy, etc., etc. If I can think of a decent concept. I mean, thing is, most of my albums are concept albums, being as they're a snapshot of stuff that's going on at the time. You know, and his name is his concept album. You know, wake up, get drugs, take drugs, you know. Wake up a few days later. As Satanic Rites is a concept album, really, because it starts when I kind of got out of hospital and was thinking, you know, there's got to be a better way to live your life. And then by the end of it, I figured out, you know, it's all about owning up to things, realising that your life is all about you and what you do and not anybody else and not what anybody else thinks. And I think that's a good top and tail kind of concept album. The next album, you could call a concept album because it's based on nature and being proud of where you're from. And it kind of explores that. But it's not a concept as in, you know, Johnny came from here and he went and did this and married Janie. Yeah, not a concept album as in a story. I don't know if I could actually do an album with a story. But if I can imagine if someone came to me with a story, I would be into that. If I had a writer, if like Alan Moore came and said, I've got this story, will you put it in a song? Then I could be into writing a concept album. But I think I'd probably get a little bit cringed out if I tried to write a concept album myself. So yeah, never going to happen, probably. Andy in London asks a fairly simple question this time around, but it's always bugged me. I was wondering what the lyric "in there like swimwear" means or refers to. Well, the obvious is obviously female swimwear can get a bit binding and restricting. So obviously the parallel is I'm in there like swimwear can be to the female nether regions. But that's obviously not what the song's about, because that wouldn't be much of a song. Yeah, it's basically a song about taking your chances. This is a Wildheart song called In Like Flynn that was pretty much the same. Is when you get a chance, do you question it? Do you think about it too much? Or do you just do it? And my style seems to be that I just do it. If it's an opportunity and it seems like a good idea, I'll go and find out if it is a good idea. 5 times out of 10 it is. But yeah, in there like swimwear is just, you know, are you going to take this opportunity? Nope, I'll have it. Boom, straight in there, in the black water. So yeah, that's what in there like swimwear is like. But I think it's only girls understand the double entendre there. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everyone gets it and it's just me being a bit slow. Afternoon, Ginger, says Mark Ash. Afternoon, Mark. Hope you are well. I am well, very well. I'm getting better. Got my cup of tea here. I've got my vape here. And as anyone knows me, if I've got a cup of tea and a vape, I'm usually well. I saw you, the Wildhearts at Leeds last Saturday. Yeah, it was a fucking weird one, wasn't it? The technical difficulties added to the show. I'm fucking relieved about that. During the Sound Vanilla radio, I noticed that John P was singing a harmony over the lyric, Where's My Elvis? I've listened to the studio version, but can't figure out what it is. It's something that we put on the album. If you listen to it, it goes, where, yeah. So I think it's the words are where, yeah. But it goes, where's my It's just to make a kind of syncopated rhythm with the vocals, which I like to do. And there's a lot of that on the new album. I'm really getting into syncopated vocal rhythms and how vocals work with drums as opposed to just how they work with guitars. And that was one of my early experiments. I've got a fucking sty or something building up on my eye. I don't know what it is, but I've got one very itchy eye. Maybe I'm going to get rich in one side of my face. Yeah, they aren't lyrics. There's it's just a bunch of yeah. I think Danny used to do it on stage sometimes, but then he'd sometimes often forget to do it. He'd often forget he had a microphone. But yeah, that's all it is. It's just a syncopated thing that is meant to be fun and a little bit clever. Just a little bit though, not too much. You don't want to alienate anyone by being too clever. I know a few artists who do that actually. I was talking about this and I won't name them, but there's a few artists that struggle to get really any foothold to become the legends that they really are. Really talented people as well. And they're just a little bit too clever with the music. It's just a little bit over everyone's head. And I give thanks regularly that I'm a bit thick. Not total thick. I'm quite smart as well. Learned a lot, but I didn't learn a lot at school. But I'm kind of really grateful that I'm a little bit thick. Therefore, people can understand what I'm talking about a bit more. And especially with songs, I don't think it's fair to write a bunch of stuff that no one can fucking play on the guitar. And so I look at my little one playing Wildheart songs and I go, great, they're not too difficult to learn unless you can't play the guitar.